The following changes have occurred over the past 24 hours. High intensity of fighting remains in the Kupyansk direction. The northwestern cities of the armed forces of Ukraine are still trying to cut off the Russian positions along the Radkovka-Golubovka line. On the left bank of the Oskol River, there is pressure from Kucherovka. The APU's plan is to select a large protrusion. To the north, in the western area, the enemy's position was recorded. The Mallow calculation has been activated. He escorted the Ukrainian armed forces with artillery fire, including the vicinity of this industrial facility. The line of collision is being pushed back, taking into account the Kondrashovka part. The Russian side has a quantitative and qualitative advantage of at least 1.5 times, high quality due to the use of drones on optical fiber. In this example, one of the APU was moving along the railway bridge in an easterly direction. The operator eliminated him with a drone strike. Previously, drone operators regularly hit vehicles at this logistics crossing. The situation in the city remains tense. In its western part, between Kupyansk and Mimoskovka, there is no sign of Russian control. The formed protrusion is almost completely removed. The fighting for Kupyansk continues. In the southern part of the Shevtsov Yar Gulch, the work of the Russian military on the enemy's position continues to be recorded. In the video that appeared yesterday, at least the operators used kamikaze drones and grenade launchers to process 3 enemy burrows. The above example shows the snow that has fallen. In another action, drone operators processed an APU shelter on the opposite side of the road. It is noteworthy that the fighters were working at the same place back in early December. The ground effectively protects against the effects of drones and dropped TM-62 anti-tank mines, which the enemy uses. Fighting continues in the Konstantinovsky direction. Although no changes have been noticed along the collision line, there is at least one event worth mentioning. On the morning of December 22nd, in the southern part of Moscow, the Ukrainian side blew up a car carrying Lieutenant General Fanil Sarvarov. Since the beginning of the special operation, the enemy has used the method of setting up an explosive device under the wheels of transport. Unfortunately, the head of the General Staff Training Department was only able to be taken to the hospital, but they could not save him there. The Ukrainian armed forces will continue to try to use similar tactics. Today, the Russian side published footage in which a drone chased a car heading north in the northern part of Konstantinovka. As a result of the defeat, the vehicle traveled a maximum of 10 meters, where only the driver survived. He also showed the consequences of hitting the car. Of those killed, the lieutenant colonel is the deputy head of the 2nd Directorate of the GUR, and the second colonel is the acting head of the Department of Management in the Donetsk and Lugansk regions. According to the description, it was a response to the despicable assassination of the general. On the battlefield, not in the rear. Such events with bombings from the Ukrainian side are carried out by those belonging to the GURU or the SBU. In addition to the responses in this sector of the front, the guards of the 3rd Corps of the 51st Army continue to work to worsen the enemy's position. Russian drones are hovering over the city to disrupt rotation and transfer reserves. In this example, in the western part of the city, a Ukrainian Cossack was moving to the front line. The cameraman hit him with a kamikaze drone. The equipment is probably out of order. Further south, work continues to advance on the northern side of the Klebenbeek Reservoir. The offensive pace of military operations remains in the area of responsibility of the Vostok Group. To the west of Nechaevka, the soldiers of the 29th Army continue to develop their offensive on the opposite side of the Kaichur River. The motorized infantry of the 36th Brigade decisively pushed through the enemy's positions with the capture of Zarekny. In the battles for this point, enemy losses amounted to up to a platoon of manpower from the nearby points of Ternovata and Kosovtsevo. In addition to capturing Zarekny, the soldiers completely captured the Zareknaya-Gerasimovka road link. North of Gerasimovka, the soldiers behind Lake Baikal are also pushing for access to Bratskoye. Active military operations are taking place on both sides of the water barrier. The Ukrainian armed forces counterattack unsuccessfully every day. From northeastern Gaia, Ukrainian forces tried to regain their lost positions. In the battle for Gulyaypole, the soldiers of the Fifth Army continue to break down the enemy's defenses. During the assault, they advanced into the southwestern parts of the city. Work is still underway in the center of Gulyaypole, where there is a building with an increased average number of floors. The Ukrainian command is deploying the most combat-ready units to prolong the fighting for this city. During the day in the battles in this area, the enemy's losses amounted to up to a company of manpower. Units of the Third Army continue to move forward in the Slavyansk direction. West of Seversk, the warriors expanded their control zone with attacking actions. With further advance, it will be more difficult for the enemy to hold positions in the remaining part of Kirov and Rozhnikovka, since they are located in the lowlands. Work is also underway on unmanned points of the armed forces of Ukraine. Aerial reconnaissance detected a UAV antenna in the central part of Rezhnikovka. The Epidron operator eliminated her. He showed other drones the moment of defeat. During the clashes, the military completely withdrew the enemy from the territory north of the Seversk-Zakotnoye road. South of the second, they advanced along the Zhitkov ravine. Fighting is still going on in Zakotny itself. Southwest of Zakotny, the Ukrainian armed forces are firing at the military of an adjacent association, creating obstacles in completing the cleansing of the Yambolsky sack and in advancing Velichevka. A little to the north, on the side of the road, a small pocket was partially reduced. As they continued their offensive, the Northwestern Guards improved their position along the road and also captured 2 strongholds in a wooded area. The wars are approaching the southern edge of the Krasny estuary, and the fighting continues.